All right, folks, I'm going to give you a quick and easy demo on two-point perspective. It's based on the same principles as one-point perspective, the idea of regression and scale. Things seem to get smaller as they move away from it. This is a different systematic approach, but it's essentially the same concept. The difference being, instead of looking at something square on and watching it recede to that single point that is our focus, it in fact recedes to what would be the periphery of the edges of our peripheral vision. And so it works something like this. Same idea. You have an eye level or horizon. Okay? On that horizon, however, instead of one point, there are two vanishing points. And very simply put, what we're looking at is typically, this is for drawing things that we're looking at an edge rather than a plane or a face. So we might see something like, if I were to draw, wow, a brick. Yeah, let's draw a brick. All right, we sight measure a first line, and we'll say it's that high. And from that sight measurement, what we will do is extend lines from vanishing point to top and bottom edge. A little crooked there. Let's try and clean that up a little bit. All right. All right, so that's what we're working with. Okay. Sight measure the back step of the next, and we're going to say the brick looks something like this, and it works very simply. You find two edges here, and then all you do is take two opposite corners to opposite vanishing points, like so, and you'll get the back side of the block. Now, if you wanted to draw that in a transparent way, you could also do that as follows. Right? Find that back corner, there you are, it's transparent. Okay? Simple. Same kinds of principles occur. Once you know one set of corners, you can bisect the box and find midpoints. You can do all of those kinds of things with it, and you can build unit construction. So if you wanted to think of a box, and if you're trying to divide in thirds, think of a box in units and break it up in thirds. In a two-point system, if you're looking down on an object, or if I turn this upside down, up on an object, you'll see three sides. If that object is, say, a building standing here, it will cross, the front edge will cross your field of vision, right? And then you'll get something that looks more like this, and you'll see what are two sides rather than three, okay? So the box will look something like this. And that's typically the kind of distortion you'll get on a tall building. What I will tell you is that these 2 points are not fictional, they are not arbitrary. They are, in fact, the very edge of your field of vision. You don't see anything beyond them. In fact, everything from about the middle third of the drawing off is outside your direct field of vision, and often the periphery where a lot of distortion will occur. And so as you move out towards those points, and especially over in these lower areas and upper areas, the quadrants, you'll get a great deal of distortion. You can see it dramatically in this part, somewhat here as well. This seems to work really nice, and then you get over here and it starts getting really dramatic. This seems to work really, really well. Why? Because it's in the middle of our field of vision. That's the basic principle. I can actually tell you how to navigate where these points are. Very simply, they are the edges of your field of vision. And so I'm going to edit over the top of this with a photograph or two. But if you stick your arms out straight at your side, standing like a T, and you slowly move your fingers forward, you'll see them just just a tiny bit forward. If you wiggle them, you'll see them in the very periphery of your vision. That is actually where your vanishing points are. And so as you pull your hands towards the middle, there's a spot right about the width of your head, or maybe 1.5 times the width of your head, where the hands sort of make sense. Everything outside there is kind of vague, and that's how this area works versus this center. So you're really looking at this as functional, and this stuff on either side as highly distorted. Quite often the solution then is, if you want a large drawing, run the horizon line well off your page and the vanishing points off the page. Tape everything down like I've done here, and it allows you to have a broader space to work from and less distortion. Okay, so that's the quick demonstration of it. You will want to expand upon that in much the same way you did on the other one. This is the really, really fast, down and dirty explanation for 2-point perspective. All right. Now, if somebody brings up 3-point perspective, it's really boring. Find the middle of your drawing, pick the point, go, and there's a vertical axis then. And typically you only use vertical. You typically don't go down, but you, in theory, could go the other direction. This assumes an extremely tall object. And basically these perpendicular lines would all move towards the vanishing point. This one, like, and that's how you kind of get a pitch of your object. But for most of what you do, totally unnecessary. All right?